Every August, the nation looks toward the Red Fort, marking another year of historical endurance and sovereign identity. Millions gather in the streets, participating in a collective celebration of grassroots unity and the shared promise of self-rule. The progress over 8 decades is undeniable. We launch spacecraft to the lunar South Pole, engineer global digital infrastructures, and prove exactly what the nation is capable of achieving. Yet beneath the surface of this public achievement, a parallel economy thrives. Illicit wealth is hoarded, quietly draining the exact resources meant to push the country forward. This hidden extraction fractures the social contract. It leaves behind a chaotic, unresolved state of public inequity, pushing thousands into the streets to demand basic accountability from the state. This creates a glaring paradox. We possess immense technological and institutional capabilities. But if you ask the common citizen to point to a single political entity with a publicly verifiable record of absolute integrity, the answer is usually silence. The Indian electorate has been conditioned to look at politics as a form of theater. Voters are actively encouraged to focus on the charisma of a single individual or the legacy of a dynastic name, rather than the mechanics of policy. The political machinery operates on a staggering scale. Vast crowds, towering stage banners, and endless rhetoric are deployed to project an aura of inevitability, designed specifically to bypass critical assessment. In this environment, a ballot is cast based entirely on future promises. It is a high-stakes decision made without a single verifiable data point to support the track record of the person receiving it. Asking which leader you should follow guarantees this cycle continues. The burden of proof belongs entirely on the politician. It is their job to provide verifiable evidence of their integrity before they secure a single vote. Moving past the political speeches requires a different framework, a civic audit. This means examining the hard empirical data of governance and following the money. Between 1948 and 2008, Global Financial Integrity estimated $462 billion in illicit financial flows leaving India. That $462 billion represents infrastructure, schools, and hospitals drained from the GDP and sequestered into shadow accounts. The public is acutely aware of this deficit. This pie chart, based on Transparency International's 2013 data, shows 86% of surveyed Indians perceive political parties as deeply corrupt, and the trajectory is climbing. According to a 2024 CSDS Lokniti survey, 55% of respondents report that corruption has increased over the last 5 years. A multi-generational drain of capital and trust on this scale highlights a structural resistance to accountability. These figures represent a statistical reality where transparency has been consistently sidelined. This system sustains itself through a continuous operational loop. It starts with the quiet generation and protection of untaxed black money by connected elites. Those illicit funds are then deployed into the political arena. They finance opaque campaign marketing and direct vote buying networks, effectively purchasing electoral victories. Once the election is secured, the victors abandon their campaign promises. They enforce policies that favor their financial backers, ensuring crony capitalism thrives and the cycle can repeat in the next term. The Republic built grand physical structures to prevent exactly this. Parliament was designed as a fortress of democratic oversight and legal limits on power. But stone and marble cannot govern. The formal architecture of democracy remains hollow if the voters inside it refuse to enforce strict ethical standards. The founders of the Republic anticipated this vulnerability. The earliest debates in the Assembly Hall were explicitly focused on establishing ethical governance from day one. They designed the Constitution as a collective defense mechanism. Its core purpose was limiting unchecked personal power and actively preventing the rise of dynastic rule. The national motto, Satyameva Jayate, truth alone triumphs, was established as the mandatory civic standard. It serves as the functional benchmark for every public office. When a citizen demands hard evidence of integrity today, they are not being cynical. They are actively fulfilling their end of the original constitutional contract. Enforcing that contract requires a practical mechanism. It requires subjecting every political candidate to a strict framework, the People's Checklist. First, the financial baseline. candidates must provide completely disclosed assets and liabilities, backed by verifiable, transparent sources of political funding. Second, the legal record. There must be full public disclosure of all criminal cases and absolute disqualification for anyone holding a corruption conviction. Third, institutional health. A party cannot govern democratically if it does not operate democratically. Voters must demand verifiable internal party elections and fully auditable accounts. Applying this checklist forces a shift in power. It transforms the Indian voter from a passive spectator of political rallies into an active, demanding auditor of the state. No institution will fix itself. The survival of an honest democratic system relies entirely on the individual citizen's willingness to enforce these standards at the ballot box. Democracy does not guarantee perfect leaders. It grants citizens the ultimate power to scrutinize, question, and replace them. The directive for every election is clear. Vote wisely, question fearlessly, and demand absolute transparency from all sides. The right to choose is a tool. Its effectiveness depends on the citizen's willingness to use it with precision and hold the final results to account.